It's that time of year we all love where everyone starts planning Halloween outfits and watching scary movies. Me, on the other hand, as someone broke and terrified of even Roblox horror games, prefer to spend my October thinking about what my OCs would wear for Halloween instead. I mean, with art you can give them whatever creative costume you want without having to think about money or logistics. So today I figured I'd design costumes for 3 of my characters, taking you guys through the process of how I conceptualize and design outfits. This will be a bit different from my normal videos, but hopefully you guys enjoy seeing how my mind works when creating. So without further ado, let's get to the first costume. The first costume is for my character Cassia, or Cass. She comes from a group of OCs my friends and I made where each of them have a specific color and body part assigned to them. For example, her brother is purple and has teeth as a motif, and Cass is pink with an eyeball motif. Therefore, I had a lot of inspiration going into the design, knowing I could use those 2 elements in whatever I picked. She also has a lot of Gyaru inspiration in her fashion, so I wanted to incorporate that as well. At first I was thinking about making her a werewolf, but I figured it would be too similar to Claudine. I ended up deciding on a clown, since clowns usually have a lot of spheres in their design and I could easily make those into eyeballs. I also just love clown or jester design, so that also helped. As you can see, when designing outfits, I usually make the iteration super rough and messy. Oftentimes I just use a flat brush and block in simple shapes so I can easily brainstorm and quickly make and alter designs. I've gravitated towards designing this way because of what one of my professors taught me, which was that being too detailed right away can cause you to pigeonhole yourself and not experiment as much as you should. When I make super messy designs like this, I don't get too precious about them and have no problem redoing designs I don't quite like and making multiple iterations. It's also just a lot easier to change certain elements, and blocking stuff in allows me to focus more on overall shape language and creating appealing shapes rather than focusing too hard on details that will get lost when zoomed out. I've had a lot of people compare my designs to Pokemon designs, and I think it's because I focus a lot on the overall shape language of a design rather than making super detailed ones like Genshin Impact or something. With my first design, I ended up seeing some sheer fabric sleeves that inspired me on Pinterest. I thought I could make the polka dots into eyeballs, but I didn't really like how it looked. Maybe it's because nothing else in the design is sheer or it's too much white, but I ended up scrapping it and trying something else for my second design. I decided to use some elements like the shape of the dress and the bat wing shape draping over the dress, just expanding on them a little bit. In order to implement more Gyaru into the design, I added some leopard print onto the dress, since that's kind of a staple of Gyaru fashion from what I've seen. Another reason why I chose a clown is because I thought this type of clown makeup and some styles of Gyaru makeup had some overlap in a really fun way. I've seen some styles of Gyaru makeup where there's a lot of white in the middle of the face that kind of felt reminiscent of some clown makeup. So I tried to play into that with the way they do eyes and just exaggerating the blush. One day I want to do an even more extreme makeup look because they're always so fun to draw. After I finalized the design, I moved to a final where I could detail these designs out and draw the character in a fun pose. Going from a super messy, vague sketch to a more refined look always leads to some changes. This time I decided on changing the texture of the fur parts to be more puffy. I just like the look of it more than fur, and I think it blends the texture of her original design with the ruffles clowns usually have together quite well. I ended up changing the leg warmers to that same texture once I stumbled across this image on Pinterest, which fit what I wanted to a T. The fur just really wasn't doing it for me, so making it more puffy really helped and differentiated it from her normal design. I tried my best to add some contrast in the central part of the design, since her hair, the corset, and the wings were kind of just blending together value-wise. I did end up removing the eyes on the corset because it just didn't look right, so maybe I'll have to think of something white I could add there to offset all the dark colors. But I ended up really enjoying this outfit in the end. I think it captures her bubbly personality and all of the motifs in her original design super well. I always want my alternate outfits to carry the same style and energy as the character's regular one while still being distinct, which this achieved. But what do you guys think? Maybe you can judge it next to this next costume. Okay, so maybe I lied to you guys a little because this is a 2-person costume. But technically I didn't lie in the intro because only one of these is my character. The other belongs to my girlfriend. I just wanted to design matching outfits for these 2 for the love of the game. For context, Ozin, their character is a demon scientist who wants to rule over the human world, while my character Loop is the human form of Cerberus who acts as her evil henchman and fangirl, very Kronk and Yzma core. Regardless, when it came to brainstorming costumes, I didn't really know what to do. My first thought was a witch in a black cat, since the evil witch vibe was similar to the mad scientist one, but I was already considering making another one of my characters a witch, so that was off the table. My next thought was Phantom of the Opera. The concept really fit our other OC pair more, but I didn't really have many ideas, and I love the outfits in that musical, so that's just where my mind went to. But you can really tell when a light bulb got activated in my mind because I got the genius idea of doing Cruella and a Dalmatian. Cruella's grandiose way of dressing and villainous aura just fit Ozen well, and Lupus literally Cerberus, so I mean, enough said there. I really didn't like the first iteration though, and you could see me going back to finish the Phantom outfit off just because of how annoyed I was. A big fur coat just felt a bit too basic and overdone, so I experimented with how I wanted the fur implemented. I actually had this in Loop's original design, which you guys might see if I make a video on how I designed her, but I wanted to try it out here. I don't know what you call it, but I got the inspiration from a drag queen I saw on TikTok. The wigs she makes are also just breathtaking, so I would definitely recommend going to her page maybe to get some inspiration. One day I will definitely be making a drag queen OC because I think that would be super fun. I didn't really like how it looked though, so I replaced it with a shawl, but with similar hanging elements to kind of capture that original design. I felt like this one just made for a bigger silhouette and made her look more grand. The big triangular shoulder parts were also for that reason, which kind of feeds into the villainous shape language and making her look more grandiose. I explained it in my outfit video, but it just feels like when a bird puffs its chest out to look more intimidating. I was happy I could implement the hat with feathers like the Phantom outfit and also incorporate big glasses into her design to kind of mimic the original. I also ended up getting some inspiration from the Cruella movie when it came to the dress. This outfit in particular is what inspired me, so I made red ruffles coming out the dress slit to mimic that and also just add more red throughout the design. When I design, I really like balancing colors by putting them all throughout the design, so if they're on the top, I like putting it on the bottom as well. It just looks more cohesive to me that way. But anyways, moving on to Loop, hers was much simpler. I already did a similar outfit with my character Matvey, so I kind of just reheated my own nachos with that one. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All my creativity went to the first one. I do like the fur jacket with Dalmatian fur on the collar, sleeve, and middle. I feel like it added more interest than if it were to only be on one part of the jacket. And on Matvey's design, it kind of has less form being made out of only fur, so I think having that structure kind of adds some nice contrast to it. There's not too much else to say other than some added dog elements like chains, leashes, dog tags, what have you. I swear I struggle designing interesting looking pants sometimes. It's way harder than it looks, especially formal ones. But really I do it to myself because I have like 50 characters with suits, so I can't complain. I didn't add too many changes when working on the final. I ended up seeing this photo while scrolling Pinterest for refs, and it made me change the red ruffles to something vertical rather than horizontal. Since it's coming out of a slit, I think it just looks a lot better and works super well, and I think I was able to draw better since I had a good ref on me. I also made the rings separating the fur segments of her shawl dog collars as a fun little addition that plays into the whole dog motif. Can you tell I like motifs? It was pretty hard making them stand out against each other because both of them shared the same color palette of black, white, and red, especially where the Dalmatian patterns overlapped. I tried using a colored outline and beefing up the line art to separate it, but I'm not too sure how well I did. Some outfits can contrast too much and some can truly be too similar is what I learned here. But I do think Loop having the Dalmatian pattern more top heavy, whereas Ozen has it more in the center, helped with the contrast a little bit. Not sure if you can tell by this in the last speed paint, but I love adding some curve adjustments after doing some base colors and shading. Both times the dark colors have turned a bit green, but green just works really well with red and pink, so that's probably why. I'm someone who struggles with color theory despite understanding the fundamentals of it, so messing with the curves really helps me visualize and play around with colors a lot. But with that, these ones are done. Certainly not the most complex outfits in the world, but I loved playing with pattern and silhouette with these costumes. And I think when you look at them, you can tell what they're supposed to be. But now for the final costume. This costume is also part of a pair, but this time I didn't design the other half. I'll be making an outfit for my character June, who's going to be an angel while his boyfriend is a devil. Angel and devil costumes have been done countless times before, but this one was actually super challenging to design for a couple reasons. For one, I wanted to maintain his clothing style in this costume. His outfits are usually inspired by street fashion, usually with a colorful or childish element to it to fit his babysitter profession. But usually when you think of how angels would dress, it's certainly not street fashion, so it was a bit difficult maintaining the angel theme while staying true to his character. At first I used this photo for inspiration since the cloud pattern on the jacket could kind of tie back to the angel theme. Honestly, it was super hard thinking of a lot of angel elements to include outside the obvious, and when I think of angels, I think of the sky and stars, so I just went with that. No shade to angels, but demons are way easier to design than angels. That's probably why I have like 10,000 demon OCs and then 2 angels. You can see I mostly went with a blue color scheme because designing with purely white is pretty hard to pull off due to the lack of contrasting values. It also fit with his boyfriend's outfit, which was red, and blue fit with the whole sky thing I was going for, so I didn't really like how the first one looked though. Something about it just felt off, so going into the next one I tried something different, particularly with the shape of the jacket because I think the sleeveless one just wasn't working. I also found inspiration in this other photo off Pinterest. The wings didn't really work on the backwards hat and also felt like too much with the wings already on the backpack though, but I ended up keeping the hat since the white ring could kind of tie back to halos. In the final, I put an actual halo on his design, but having that callback was still nice. I also got inspiration from biblically accurate angels. Sometimes you'll see them with these rings around them, so I made that the chains hanging off of his pants to add some more angelic inspiration where I could. I also continued with a kind of celestial theme by adding some stars into different parts of his design. It also added more color into the outfit and allowed me to put in some patterns into the pants, so I really liked this addition. I think the final design could definitely look more angel-like, but with what I had to work with, I still really like it. I think the crop of the jacket really works much better than the first one because it doesn't feel as overwhelmingly blue. Since his stomach is showing, there's a nice contrast of warmth that complements the yellow and make things much more balanced. It kind of gives your eyes a place to rest with all the blue in the design. My girlfriend ended up making their design after mine, and I like how they added some matching elements like the decoration on the sleeves and a similar cropped jacket thing going on. With this one as well, I had a lot of fun playing around with the colors for this piece and adding a couple more details like on the shoes and such. In some of these I end up swapping the patterns or small elements just because I want it to display better in the piece, such as the pattern on the pants. I switched the leg it was on just so you could see it better in the final. But I think these designs are kind of fun in contrast to the last one. These ones were very contrasting, whereas the other ones were very similar. But with that, all the costumes are complete, so let's take a look at all of them. Hopefully you all enjoyed seeing the process of conceptualizing and designing these costumes. I always have a lot of fun making alternate outfits for my characters because I get to practice working with the same style and motifs, but trying to adapt it for whatever outfit I want to make. I hope this can inspire you if you wanted to do something similar with your characters, or if you've already decided what your OCs would dress up as, then feel free to share it in the comments. I always like hearing the fun things people do around Halloween. And you guys might be more creative than me when it comes to thinking of Halloween costumes. I feel like my mind went to a lot of basic ones. I was hoping to draw some of my other characters' Halloween costumes before October ends, but with my schedule, I don't know if that's possible. As a little bonus, here's a Halloween costume I did last year for my slasher character. He's Edward Scissorhands. And here's my beautiful, beautiful middle-aged therapist Stanley's costume. As you can tell, I put so much work into this design. Honestly, I should have featured it on this, but how would I even begin to explain the thought process behind this? But hopefully you guys enjoyed. I really want to make more videos like this just because I love talking about character design. It's my favorite thing ever. I have the whole process for how I made Loop's design, so if you guys want to see that, then I can definitely post that. But with that, I hope you guys have a great Halloween. Let me know which one is your favorite in the comments, and yeah, that's all I have for you. Bye!